Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mechanic Meditations. We are now on number 6. So, for this episode, or for this video, I wanted to talk about, let me bring up my Evernote, how do you view failure? How do you view failure? How do you handle failure? How do you handle multiple, consistent, long-term failure? Because in auto repair, and I've mentioned this on some of the previous videos, in auto repair, you can have a period where you're doing really good. You're way up here. You're flying high. You're fixing cars like crazy. Everything's just coming up Millhouse, and you fix one thing, you fix the next thing, you fix the third thing. Everything is just going absolute perfectly. You're making 20 hours a day. 20 hours! You're making absolute good money. And then you fail. You misdiagnose something. Whatever you put on the car doesn't seem to fix it. On a 3-hour job, you're taking 6 hours to do it, and that happens once, and you go, okay, that was a fluke. That was just that was a crappy job. That was a really bad situation that I happened to get. Luck of the draw. And then it happens again, and then you get another job, and you misdiagnose that one. You think you got some. You think you know what's wrong with the car, but it's not. You order parts. You tell the service writer, "Hey, it needs this." If it's a warranty job, okay, that's not too bad. You can kind of save that sometimes, like give the parts back, not charge them out. But if it's a customer pay job where the customer is actually paying the bill, not the manufacturer, well, now you're costing the customer money. It's like failure on a warranty pay is not so bad because you're just costing the customer time, but now you're costing them money too, and money is time. That is time that the customer spent to earn that money. So now you're costing them basically more time, and you're losing the customer goodwill. The customer is starting to doubt that you or the shop knows what they're doing. You're beginning to have a bad reputation, and it starts to weigh on you. And that's the external part. That's not the part that directly affects you. The part that directly affects you is a job that paid 3 hours. You are taking 6, or you are taking 9, or you're taking longer than the job pays to figure out and fix the problem. And that directly affects your paycheck, because in the world of auto repair, we're paid by the job. We're not paid by the hour, in the vast majority of cases. So now you have this sense that my paycheck is going down. My money is going down. I'm gonna have a bad paycheck. I'm not gonna make enough money this pay period. I'm gonna start going hungry. I can't pay the electric bill. I can't pay my mortgage. If you're married, my wife's gonna leave me because now I don't make enough money. My kids are gonna go hungry. That kind of thing. That kind of stress starts to weigh on you when you have a failure, and you have a consistent string of failures. And I have found that it is not the most common occurrence is not a random interspersing of failure. It is lots of success and then failure, 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 and then lots of success again. It comes in these waves. Yeah, there's a little like interspersed stuff like, oh, crap, I screwed up on that one, but it's not that bad, or I really knocked that out of the park. Um, this portion went a little wrong, but I was able to fix it. That that kind of stuff happens, and that's consistent throughout the repair industry or the day to day life of a mechanic. But more often than not, at least I've found, is or at least I've experienced is that failure comes in a massive wave. It starts with one thing, and then it builds, and then it gets ginormously huge, and then suddenly it's gone. And I can't really pinpoint the time when it's gone. I don't want to say it's after the weekend, after you've had 2 days off to recuperate and think about things. I don't want to say that it comes on a Wednesday. I don't want to say that it comes after you've gotten rid of all the failure jobs in your queue, and now you're starting brand new with new jobs. It seems to be random on when the failure stops. And in my experience, or at least for my personality and my way of dealing with things, like failure weighs on me very, very harshly. Um, it's gotten better over time because I've been able to learn how to recognize when it actually is my fault versus when it is not. And I've been able to learn to accept, okay, there's always going to be a certain amount of failure, and you need to learn from those failures, see the actual good and the benefit and the lesson within those failures. And now, while I don't entice failure to occur, I don't welcome it. I appreciate it. I'm like, okay, I failed on that thing, but that is a lesson that I can apply to my next job or in my overall daily life, because some of these failures are actually just bad habits that a mechanic has learned from his non-mechanic life. And we're getting a little bit further in there, a little bit deeper there. Some of these bad habits, like not writing things down, not listening to people, that's a big one. Jumping to conclusions, not taking time to fully think things out, basically poor impulse control, poor organization, a little bit of maybe a ADD kind of behavior where your attention is spread between 5 different things at once, and you really should be focusing on no more than 2, if really, really no more than 1. But sometimes we have to think about 2 things. Those are the habits that bleed into making failures during auto repair, and I've made them quite a bit. And I tell my students, like, slow down, you'll go faster. And part of that is think about one thing at a time. When dealing with that consistent long-term failure, it's so what's the word? Demoralizing. Because after a week or two, you just start thinking, well, is it me? Am I really the problem here? Am I a failure? Am I bad? Am I not a good mechanic? Am I not a good person? Because I can't do anything? Because nothing's going right for me? These are the kind of thoughts that start to get into your mind like little worms, and they lead to even more failure. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and really, like, you have to cut that kind of language and those kind of messages off right at the knees whenever they start to come into your mind. You have to immediately say, no, that is not true. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad mechanic. I'm not a failure. I am just experiencing something inopportune to me at this time. So the mental aspect of failure is probably the most important one. You have to be able to, one, reframe it as an opportunity to learn, and two, be strong enough in your convictions that you are a badass and that failure does not mean you're a bad person. And that saved me a long time to learn. Still learning it in some cases. Like everyone, and I'm going to be honest, like sometimes there's a failure that happens that you have never encountered before, and it will throw you for a loop, and your psyche just takes a massive hit, and you have to process that. But overall, failure is not a bad thing, provided one, you handle it correctly, and two, you learn from it and never do it again. So that's kind of what I just wanted to say on this topic. This topic's actually gone very quickly today because it's relatively simple. Please leave a comment below. Talk about what crap that you've learned from failure before, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.